Hi, I'm Tony Lepore from the TWU Local 591.
And I'm Ken Morris from Local 591 with the Transport Workers Union. And today we have Stormy Hill joining us from Recovery Ways. Stormy, could you give us a little bit of your background, please?
Yeah, I'm Stormy Hill. I'm an occupational therapist and I'm the Life Skills Program Director at Recovery Ways. Really happy to be here today.
So in the recovery world, mental health, substance abuse, how can our senses help us?
Yeah, well, this is a passion of mine. So I'm going to geek out for a little bit on the brain.
Go.
So our brain is literally wrapped in our sensory organs. And so we have this really beautiful tool that's like at our fingertips. And we know in the world of mental health and healing, there's no magic bullet, but it's a really underutilized tool, in my opinion, in my experience, where we constantly have sensory input at our fingertips, right? Like I mentioned, all the time, 24 hours a day, we're taking in sensory input from the environment, from within our body, and most of the time we're doing that unconsciously, subconsciously, or less thoughtfully than we work on helping our clients learn to do it in a thoughtful, mindful way to help move into self-regulation. So that's kind of, and if you just kind of neuroanatomy, where our sensory inputs processed in the brain will get us out of the reaction, out of the limbic system, fight, flight, freeze, into the thinking part of the brain. So, again, it's something that we always have available to us. And so it's really just a passion of mine to help our clients learn, and myself practicing all the time too, to use our sensory input in a way that moves us into greater states of self-regulation and kind of out of that dysregulated state that nobody likes to hang out in. I mean, nobody ever says, I made the best decision when I was super angry and reactive, right? So any strategies we can use to get back into the thinking part of the brain, I'm all for. And so, we have 8 senses, not 5. And so we have 8 different kinds of tools right at our fingertips all the time. So
awesome. That's
yeah.
great. Thanks.
Yeah.
So if someone is contemplating help, how can our senses help?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I think like a simple strategy, a strategy we use a lot with our clients, we call it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but just paying attention to 5 things you see in the space. And so let's say you're really dysregulated. Someone's maybe feeling really triggered or really struggling with a craving or a desire to hurt or harm themselves, to take, and again, this is to, what do they feel? Like, what do they feel? What are their hands on? Putting your feet in the grass, clenching your toes. It does sound like silly things, but again, just by where that's processed in the brain, helps to ground a present moment. And instead of being in past or in future, which is where a lot of our anxiety and depression and desire to hurt or harm come from, helping to root in the present. So our senses, along with our breath, are 2 really amazing ways to be in present moment. So just that, like taking a moment, slowing down, right? So pausing, which is not easy when we're hurting, when we're scared, when we're anxious, and note 5 things that you see in the space, 4 things that you feel, 3 things that you hear, 2 things that you smell, and 1 thing that you taste. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's just a really quick way, it's like 30 seconds to be grounded in the body and to get out of kind of that perseverative or looped thinking, that nobody really loves to hang out in.
So, just out of curiosity then, can our senses get in the way?
Yeah, equally, right? So the light side and the shadow side of all things, right? So we can use our senses thoughtfully and consciously, or we can use our senses. So I would say our brain's gonna get the input it needs. It's adaptively or maladaptively. Like the brain's incredible at getting what it's needing, and again, in healthy ways or in less healthy ways. So yeah, if you look at things like social media, like falling down the wormhole of social media for hours, right? Even things like pornography with the high visual and auditory stimulation, gambling, overeating, over-exercising, being over busy, right, as a distraction, right, from our own inner landscape and our own healing. So yeah, equally they can be used in an unhealthy, in a maladaptive way. And so part of what we do, and I love to do, is help our clients learn to, in a sort of a thoughtful, curious, non-judgmental way, get curious about how do you use your senses, both adaptively and maladaptively, and then we work on bringing in the mindfulness piece where we can use our senses more thoughtfully to move towards healing.
Wow, pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm Ken Morris. We're going to wrap this session up. Thank you very much for watching.
And I'm Tony Lepore. We are from the TWU Local 591. And thank you, Stormy, from Recovery Ways. We just got a good education on our senses. Thank you.
You're welcome.